this. And yeah, we're gonna call that a done deal. We're just gonna leave that open just like that, so you can see my face, see this, and you can see what's going on here. Ignore the performance issues. Um, my face isn't the most important thing. It's what I have to say. Okay, I am officially Philip Mills. Okay, I am from an adopted fortunate circumstance, and I came up with loving family members from whom raised me from all different backgrounds up in New England. For those relatives and family members, they are not down here with me in the great Sunshine State, but there are other people here who I've run into that have been at most coherently just absolutely dishonest. And some people that just, I guess, are more focused on money than humanity. I'm focused on worrying about what I've done and my mistakes in my life, but there are some things that we got to talk about. Okay. For starters, I came down here in 2016, and we're going to get into the topic of invasive species. There's the Burmese Python, there's the Tegu lizard, there is the Muscovy Duck, or Muscovy, or Carinia Moschata, which is the scientific name. It's discovered back in 1758, and the guy who found it, for specifics, not that I remember his name specifically, Musco, Muscovy Duck discovery was discovered by Mr. Carl Linnaeus, if that's how you say that. Anyway, point being is, back in 1758, okay, we didn't have climate crisis problems. We didn't have invasive species screwing up the ecosystem in general parts of Florida. Now, I'm not going to drop this topic because it seems like people don't want to basically fix something until they get tired of hearing about it. Just like with politics. Like, we're all tired of hearing about Joe Biden and Donald Trump and blah, 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 this and that. You see people driving around with middle finger, giving the bird to Joe Biden. They did it with Trump. It's wasteful. It really is wasteful. But let's talk about something that's going to actually affect the earth and the longevity of it in the state of Florida. Okay, so I'm not going to divulge the greatest secret that I will be mastering to share with you folks out there, but I'm going to tell you something, core truth, to the points of testimony of myself. I've been here in Florida since 2016. I bought a beautiful home that's just shy of 3,000 square feet in the Eagle Lake East neighborhood. That's in Space Coast Property Development and Melbourne City. I started off coming down here for business, to primarily help people learn how to drive as a driving instructor. Opened up my own business, did great until, customers had problems with a driving instructor who tries to tell their kid how to drive and what methods to use. Then there became issues with people not liking what was being taught or how it was being shown and what was being asked of them. So there was some confrontation, but overall, I would say that I had more satisfied customers than anything else. Now, when we talk about customers, we're talking about the entire population of the United States, and primarily here centralized to Florida, all 20 million people. Now, up and down the entire state of Florida, there is a different ecosystem of persons, just like with any other state. Some states, as you get further north, you get more Democratic. Some places, as you get further south, you get more Republican. In Florida, as you go deeper south, it's actually more mixed between Democrat, Independent to Republican, and more diverse, especially around the major cities in Florida, where you'll notice in Orange County, Jacksonville, Miami, even in Clearwater, okay, way far over, and even up in Tallahassee, there are more Democratic valued people and persons that live in those particular areas. And what I'm talking about, the issue is that the great state of Florida has been deeply impacted by invasive species because people buy things that they don't know what they are. They did this way back in the day. It's nothing new. Like the Burmese Python, or, for example, Tegu lizard. If you don't know what a Tegu lizard is, I'll show you. Tegu lizard. Okay? This is a Tegu lizard. Now you're gonna think, like, what is this, a monitor? No, it's actually only like 4 feet long. I mean, they're not super massive, but compared to a human being, holding them in their hand and whatnot, you're talking a decent sized animal. It's decent. It's not crazy, but it's good. It's good. It's good dang on size. And why are they bad for Florida? Well, many people don't even know about this, so I'm trying to spread a little bit of awareness. Just like the cane toad problem, okay? Cane toad in Florida, all right? People didn't believe this, but they came from Australia, and now they're here in Florida. Of course, that's not going to tell you anything. But they've been introduced, as they asked this silly question, been here since 1930s, 1940s, probably back in the early 20s, most likely. And the thing is, like, all the silly questions people ask, the main general point is that these frogs are going to cause a serious problem in Florida. Now, the state governor, Mr. Ron DeSantis, who is dealing with all sorts of other political and demographical, more important financial serious matters in Florida. I don't know how big these issues are going to be to him, but maybe to future governors and to people who live here in Florida, for those who actually care. You got a lot of people screaming what their opinions are. You got people that love some of these animals. You got people that really dislike some of these animals. People that dislike them want them gone, removed, or killed. And people that love them want to save and protect them or care for them or just don't want them harmed or bothered. So you have two sides that can agree on pretty much either side coming together. And here's the thing. This is where I come into the picture. If you can't get to an agreement to save an animal's life, let alone not kill an animal's life, then the animal shouldn't exist here at all. If you can't have people that want to coexist and work with them, these particular issues, not understanding the reason why they're not good for the state of Florida, any one of these particular species I'm pointing out, and of course, obviously, nobody wants a Burmese python. Why would you want that? I mean, there's only a few rare folks that, I meant to say, Burmese python. Okay, anyway, why would you want these things? I mean, look how big this thing can get. I mean, just a picture alone, look at the size of that. That is monstrous. That's right there, 17 feet and 140 long. And that's not even the biggest record. The biggest record, biggest caught in Florida. The biggest caught in Florida was 18.9 feet. There you go. I just searched that up. So that's by these guys, and they just claimed that back in, was it November 16th of 2020? So it's just last year. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, dude. This is a freaking, like, unbelievable. I mean, how much does this sucker weigh? They even have the specifications. Oh, there you go. Feel the berm. Yeah, right. Everyone's just so excited over that post right there. A lot of people are like, oh, hey, no. But anyway, that's a female snake, and females can breed a lot of little babies. Now, they're still estimating there's over 100,000 to 300,000 of these snakes in the wild. And they're talking about how the Florida Wild Commissioner is stepping up on this. And of course, they're more worried about pythons than the other problems. Now check this out. We humans have displaced many natural ecosystems of animals in just about any part of Florida you can think of. From the Florida man to the Florida woman, to the snowbird that comes down here, to the person who's not even native from this country that has migrated here and has become a Florida citizen. As Floridians alike, foreigners, and everybody that's an immigrant alike, we've all got to come to a common agreement, even if every other state doesn't. We are in great danger from hurricanes and coastal flooding. And not to mention, the biggest threat is going to be from ocean sea level. Future map of Florida. Okay, not to say that I'm telling something that nobody else knows, but if you just look at this image of what Florida would look like in the future, they're talking about something pretty daggone serious here. This is serious. Now, they're not saying that we're going underwater, but they're talking about a lot of places that are going to be in constant exposure to heavy amounts of rain and water flooding into canals, drainage ditches, waterways. Any place that's close to the coast is going to be affected from this rising coastal water. It's going to degrade and inundate precious and protected, sanctioned areas that were once home to, native species, if there's anything left down here in the Everglades. Now, I can tell you right now, from just this map alone, that's not going to give you a good visual. So let's talk about, they have some drastic pictures. I'm sure some of them are more, it's just, talking about the worst area possible, likely it could get hit and what it could be. And then they got this funny thing, visit while you still can. Dude, it's ridiculous. Quite frankly, they're talking about, Miami may not survive. Of course it's not going to survive in the near future. But let's talk about saving the state while we still can. Okay? And there's a few things that people got to come together on a commonary issue here. Now, I realize I talked about, starting off Tegu lizard, cane toad, Burmese python. Okay, none of these things are good. Cane toads are poisonous and toxic. Animals cannot eat them because if they do, they'll get sick and die. Cane toads literally can't be eaten by just about anything. And the native predators for cane toads basically are cane toads, or things that are in Australia, which, if you don't know anything about Australia, almost everything in Australia can kill or defend itself very efficiently away from humans. So, jumping back to Florida, we have the Burmese python, which primarily comes from Southeast Asia and Burma, and those snakes are alpha predators in their own territory. So when they came here and they were in a forest and they were looking around at all these deer and opossums and raccoons, coyotes, foxes, they just saw open predatory prey menu. I mean, we're talking free game. Let's just look at something a little chilling here real quick. All right, this kind of unnerves me still. Okay, this is going to go to YouTube, and we're going to talk about the Erie Everglades after the pythons. Yes, the Erie Everglades. Okay, so the most disturbing thing with the Everglades is how quiet the Everglades are now. And I think you have to go back to just general, like the Google, and look this up. The Erie Everglades after Burmese python. Yeah, not python attack. The python nightmare, new giant species invading Florida. That's '09. That's not new. Why don't they have? They have exciting new news in 2021 that they have misunderstood python hunters saving the Everglades. Yeah, it's a thing in there, but Erie Everglades, maybe that's it, or creepy. We'll say creepy, quiet Everglades. Yeah, after the Burmese python. Okay, so they're not going to actually, obviously have a video maybe, but like, yeah, just read this, okay? Just do your research. I mean, that's how most people try to learn about this stuff. And the reason why I would say this is that this is basically the affected area of all that has been impacted from these snakes. And it all started somewhere in the deep south or in the surrounding areas where the primary cause was not actually from Hurricane Andrew, which many people claim Hurricane Andrew in 1992 came in and opened up a facility where all these snakes were, and that's how these snakes were inundated into the wild, and they took over everything. That's not exactly in any way, shape, or form even close to the real truth. The real truth would be that majority of people who own those snakes either let them go or let them go on purpose, one, because they got too big and they could not contain them or feed them or handle them, or they just wanted to create a population of Burmese pythons. So congratulations to all those lovely folks. And I guarantee you they were not African American, they were not Spanish, they're probably crazy white people. White people do a lot of crazy stuff. I'm trying to fix problems that other crazy white people caused, most likely the root of it, as to why we have white people in power, and few very much of those being anyone of different ethnic backgrounds actually doing anything to specifically fix these problems, because they just don't want to deal with it. Most average white folks do crazy stuff, and most average African Americans, Spanish folks, Puerto Ricans, Haitians, you can even get in with the Italians if there's any of those, Germans. You're not going to see a lot of them doing anything particularly crazy. Indian guys do some pretty crazy stuff. In fact, even crazier than some white folks. But in terms of doing good for the environment, the way they live in a more rugged and tough and durable form of their lifestyle environment. And I'm talking about actual pure native Indians that actually come all the way over from the West. They can survive and eat things that most white people couldn't even stomach. And I'm just talking about everything from the Indiana Jones movie, not specifically to that degree, but for the majority, you could get downright close with that. But back on the topic of Burmese pythons, let's talk about something that most people don't think is a problem, but it is actually an issue. And why else would the state not want these types of animals here? Because they're invasive. Okay, so the issue that I got back on topic was an invasive species. And what am I going to summarize here, short and sweet? The Muscovy duck. Now, a lot of people have mixed opinions about the Muscovy duck. I didn't even get into that. I'm going to show you what they look like. And no, I do not think that they are attractive. But that doesn't mean that I hate these ducks or am not appealed by them. If you don't know what a Muscovy duck is, there you go. There's your image, right there, smack dab. People are going to be like, oh, it's so cute. Oh, it's so adorable. No, they're actually not even from America. They are actually from Mexico and South America. They were never even in the United States until somebody brought them here. In case you don't know that, do your research and look it up. 1758, as I said in the beginning of the video, but you notice I'm not obsessively talking about them because there are bigger problems in Florida. You got snakes eating entire populations of wildlife and inundating the entire ecosystem of Florida's biomes and natural areas, like the swamps, okay? Many people don't go in there, but you got dangers. What's the problem with these guys? Let me show you what the problem is with these guys. Okay, so, little fun facts about Muscovy ducks in case you didn't know this. Largest duck in the world. Do they take that trophy? Let's see. Well, they at least are the largest duck of North America. They look like a small goose, greater than the size of a common mallard and smaller than a Canadian goose. So these ducks are massive. We're talking 15 pounds for the male drakes, and the females can get up to about 7 to 8 pounds, maybe 7.5. So the biggest Muscovy ducks, as they say here, yeah, right there, you get that right in that range. 7 kilograms, 15 pounds for the males, and females considerably smaller, only growing up to 6.6 to 7 pounds. They're still massive, huge. Now, they don't live long, but they do a lot of, well, issues or problems. Here's the question. Right here. This is a relevant one. A lot of people will disagree, especially those who are lovers of these ducks. Are they aggressive? They actually can become very aggressive and territorial, especially in their natural nature. They become often very aggressive towards people and pets as well. And that's a highlighted statement. Now, duck attacks are not common nor benign, as they may sound. So, Muscovy ducks, I'm not going to say they're horrible, but they're not good for the Florida environment, and let me explain why. And this is also stated on the Florida, the Florida wildlife. And I don't care if you love these ducks or you want them dead. We're not even talking about that. People that don't want them at all, not even to be drastic to say want them dead. Here you go, right here. They have been introduced into urban and suburban areas in Florida, just like the Burmese Python. It was done on purpose by people who wanted them to be integrated into the population because they loved them, but they didn't love them so much that they could keep them in control when they're growing them on farms or private areas. I am vouching humane capture by net. Okay? Net and a nice gentle blanket to capture the bird. Put it into a cage or crate. Bring it to a sanctuary. Okay? Don't kick these birds. Don't run them over with a car. Don't try to break their necks or break their beaks. This is just ridiculous. For one, running an animal over with a car is just manslaughter in an animal sense. If PETA was involved with this, they'd have a field day with that. Okay, clubbing an animal, cruel. What's the purpose? Why break their nose in? The fact that this is even done is just insane. You can actually see it online, like, how do you kill them? And they're saying, oh, you can club them. It's on the internet. I don't know who put that out there, but do not club these birds, okay? They do not deserve that. All right, they are living, breathing creatures. But the problem that they create is how big they can get. And they even say right here in the statement, where they often occur in high densities. So right here, they are not native to Florida. This is the Florida Wildlife Control. They are regulated as a Class 3 wildlife. You need a permit to possess them for exhibition or sale. You got people on Craigslist, okay? Right now. All right, let's just take you into Craigslist. This is so sad. All right, Craigslist. All right, just Craigslist in general. Craigslist Orlando, okay? I type in Muscovy Duck. Muscovy Duck, okay? Oh, man. Muscovy Ducks are chickens. Animals for sale. Duck eggs. New hatchling. Muscovy Ducks all ages. Muscovy Ducks with mom. Junkin Peregrine and Muscovy Ducks. Breeding are Muscovy Ducks. So, not every single one of these is specifically selling them, but do you think these people have a license? Are these birds' wings clipped? I don't think so. So, you have one side of the state saying, we don't want these animals here. You got people on the other side saying, we love these animals, and then another side of people saying, we don't. And trust me, there's as much love as there is as much hate, or as much hate as there is as much love. Here's the point. Take this down into a quick summary. It's really quite simple. They were introduced here to the state just like any other invasive animal. And the point of this topic is, why should they have the right to invade, overbreed, take over dominated areas that aren't meant for them to belong to because they're a very dominating class of bird, where they are actually destroying and decimating other waterfowl species that many people don't even realize. And I've seen this firsthand. Since I lived here in 2016, these Muscovy ducks actually displaced an entire population of the brown spotted duck. Let me tell you all, for you people that love ducks, okay, you should side more with the brown spotted duck than the Muscovy duck. And let me tell you why. These ducks are beautiful. I'm not even a duck person, and a purebred brown spotted duck is an amazing, beautiful animal, even for it being a molted duck. I mean, it may not be, you know, the most beautiful duck in the whole wide world, but it is amazing. I mean, just look at these pictures. I just want you to look at this. And before I tell you the darkness, the sadness behind what's happened to these ducks, I want you to realize something. Okay? So there's a female and there's a male. Now you see this orange colored beak? They used to be a lot brighter. The males usually have a blue wingtip here, somewhere in that range. And then the females have nothing to little and look very dirty, but they still have that beautiful array of chestnut color and the black wingtips and the orange little feet on their bottom side. And then down here with the males, same thing. You'll see that too. And even their noise, which is just, they're just such peaceful creatures. I'm just going to point that out. They're the most peaceful waterfowl you'll ever come across. They're very interactive, very social. They don't stay in areas for long. They come and they go. They don't camp and nest and overgrow like Muscovy ducks. They're native to Florida. And what's the saddest part about these birds? They're so peaceful. Let's not steal too much from this because it's not my right to show all these video clips. But yeah, just absolutely beautiful. Even look at the female here, or the mother. She's got this beautiful blue tip, but nothing here. So we're gonna close that out. Yeah. So those are native to Florida. Muscovy ducks are not. And let me tell you something. I watched a Muscovy duck family decimate and destroy a brown spotted duck that is native to Florida. But the saddest part is I came to find out something much sadder. The brown spotted duck population that I witnessed was not even a purebred. They were hybrid. Conservation status. This is the sad part. Okay. This is all you got to know why we need to stop believing that Muscovy ducks belong, invasive species belong. This is ridiculous. We are more focused on whatever we see to protect it and every little piece of animal rather than protecting what we're losing. This is why. Right here. The International Union of Conservation of Nature, which identifies threatened or endangered animals, lists the molted duck, and they stay here as of 2016, least concern. But here on them, they say that they are, where is it? Yeah, here we go. Right here. This is it. This is more important than reading the rest of that nonsense. The Florida molted duck is one of the few non-migratory migratory ducks in Northern America. Therefore, the management and protection of this subspecies is primarily the responsibility of Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Long-term well-being of Florida molted ducks is threatened. That's right, threatened by crossbreeding with feral domesticated mallards, and the FWC is working hard to combat this problem. So these ducks are native, and they are combated, challenged, and threatened by other non-friendly waterfowl, Muscovy ducks. So if a Burmese python doesn't have any place here because it kills and eats everything, mainly eating everything, and that in turn kills it, why do Muscovy ducks get to have any more right or say so? Because humans put them there, just like Burmese pythons? Neither species belongs. We need to protect native animals in this state, and PETA needs to jump on board of this. They need to step up and say, no more clubbing these innocent animals, no more running them over with a lawnmower, just like this jerk did in freaking, where was it? Oh my God, terrible. It was West Palm Beach. He got a lot of counts of cruelty. West Palm Beach incident where man mows down Muscovy ducks. If PETA didn't know about this, shame on them. Screw my typing, like whatever, you know, whatever. Yeah, right there. Duck killed right in front of vegan restaurant diners in West Palm Beach. That was back in 2021? That was in 2018. So This happened in 2018 in Paul Strings community with a hire of wildlife trappers who shot Muscovy ducks? No, 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 no. 2015, this is the bad one. A man pleaded guilty to animal cruelty charges after driving a lawnmower over Muscovy duck babies. It's in there. 9 babies, as they state. Now, I personally have seen these ducks in the flesh. I don't know how in the world he accomplished this unless he had a turbo mower. Doesn't explain any reason why he even did it unless to be cruel and inhumane. It's not excusable. Now, I live in an HOA. Everybody in here is 45 and above. I'm 31. I'm dealing with pre-hereditary high blood pressure, but I keep a management on that with healthy eating and diet. And I'm going to be exercising more because I'm not heavy. I'm actually a pretty thin guy. You can actually see, like, I don't have a lot of weight on me. Pretty well weight for myself if you put that in comparison. Not too much belly weight or gut or anything. There may be a little bit in there, but, you know, whatever. Here's my point. I'm trying to do what's right to capture these animals and put them in a sanctuary. I've called sanctuaries. And you know why I called a sanctuary? Somebody in my neighborhood, more than once, reported somebody had shot or injured these Muscovy ducks because they just don't like them. They have a problem with them. There's a report of, I think, coyotes from somebody I lived with coming into my neighborhood. And they live literally right across the road from where I live in a forested, cut-off section where this guy has his cows. And wildlife trapper that I called for this incident was witnessing a female Muscovy duck that got injured. Nobody even cared. I called the wildlife trapper. He takes my money. He knows that the duck's injured. Doesn't do anything. He says it's his obligation to remove the duck because he knows I reported that it was injured. How do I know it was injured? Because people had been watching what was going on, and I caught on when it was right at that moment to see there's something odd going on around here in my neighborhood. Apart from knowing what was going on with these brown-spotted ducks and these Muscovies and how they were being impacted and affected, I had to step in. I had to do something. So what did I do? I volunteered to become a wildlife, natural habitat capturing community service member, somebody that's going to do good for some environmental cause and do some right. I'm going to conclude with that and leave the video there. It's already long enough, but we'll get more into this topic, and I'd really like people's opinions on what they think should be done, because I think my points are valid, and I'm downright frustrated that a person with me who can't even get angry because my blood pressure will go too high, I could risk busting the blood vessel for all I know. I mean, lately, I got my blood pressure monitor right here. I check that all the time. 31. Isn't that terrible? I have to check my blood pressure. That's terrible. And I eat healthy. I eat fish and fresh greens and no soda, lots of water. I take healthy supplements, are all heart healthy. And I'm still battling with this problem. And yes, I'm still single, in case there's any ladies out there that are wondering what a nice guy like me is doing caring for animals and how compassionate I am. This is not a dating app. This is about doing what's right for the state of Florida. And namely, the environment, okay? What's being impacted, what's being affected. So I'm asking you, who watch this video, to understand, I'm working hard to try to spread the word and the message. Please help me do that. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.